Yes, people, I am back in the background. I've just went to have a glass of water and refresh. So yes, this is a very much an exercise that is encouraged to do on your own at home every day. If you can spend 15 minutes a day towards promoting a better way of breathing, conscious breathing, 15 minutes a day, it's going to be the most powerful thing that you engage in changing your life. I couldn't tell you how much this is a life changer. This is, right now we're doing it as just like you go to church and you just want, you meet up and you congregate, but there must also be a time when you're by yourself praying and connecting just through the power of breath. And this is something that I recommend. If you could do, even if it's just 9, 18, 27, and that's it for the first part of the day before you even get out of bed or before you engage in anything that requires you to pay attention. This will empower your entire being like never before. This is like plugging in. This is like tapping in, tuning in, and turning on. This is like this is before, without doing an exercise like this on a daily basis, what you find is that you're just running on reserve. You're not actually giving yourself any form of steam to run off of. You need to charge yourself up. You need to charge yourself up with that appropriate energy, that God energy that we are dealing with. And we have to know that the omnipotent, the omnipresent, the omniscient is there in the air that we breathe. And it's there in taking care of the air that we breathe, the relationship that we have with air. But the more that we do that on a very primordial, conscious, day-to-day matter, spend an hour a day, not an hour a day, I'm saying in every hour that passes, stop to take a few deep breaths in appreciation for the appreciation of life. Take a few deep breaths for just giving in those, the amount of air that way you have to fill up and charge and keep on the move. And remember that air that you're breathing is electrical. It's life-giving. So you want to not only just run on reserve, you want to charge up. You want to know that you've got more in reserve than what you need for the day. So the more that you can hearken on to this discipline and doing it on a day-to-day basis, then you have really grasped something special for yourself. Like I'm saying, even if you bridge it and you just do a quick 5-10 minute and then you do the big clear out on Sunday, like coming to this is like, like them said before, in Jamaica when you're growing up, you have a wash out every 2 weeks, every month you have a wash out to clear out the rubbish in your system. But this is like clearing out the rubbish in your mind, clearing out the rubbish in your esoteric being, coming together collectively. There's power in the collective. And, it's profound. It's a cleansing power that will shift so many aspects of stale ways of being that you don't even realize that you're vibrating in that bad energy until you step out of being in a bad place. And you can reflect back and say, Ras, I didn't know I was that bad. I didn't know I could feel so good. Remember, you have a paradise within your heart that you can tap into at any time. And it's there to show you that it loves you above all, because it has to be with you all the time. It loves you more than anything. And it is the representation of God being with you at all times. And if you don't pay attention to that, it don't make sense. Say you love God and God did it right with you. We're waiting for you to have that communication with you on that level, and you're ignoring him in your own body. That don't make no much sense. So I definitely encourage to try and do at least 3 rounds, 9, 18, 27. You understand? This is simpler than prayer. I'm not even telling you to pray every day, which I should be telling you to do. And I would be telling you to do. But this is about appreciating the power that's in the air alone. Just breathing with conscious breathing is a prayer alone. It's a prayer of gratitude just for the air. And that's the most powerful prayer that you can pray. Prayer of gratitude. You're not begging for nothing. You're glorifying what you've got in abundance right there in the breath. And the intention of breathing in that breath, from understanding that you're breathing in life force energy, you're breathing in the all-knowing, you're breathing in the all-powerful, you're breathing in the all-pervading. These concepts are perceptions to the mind that are above the language that we speak. They tap deep into our emotional infrastructure. The emotional language is one that is boundless. It is not confined to the language that comes out of our mouth. So when we're talking about powering up this prana, powering up, turning up the God gene, turning up the emotion, that attraction that we have, that natural attraction that we have for God, that we negate, we try and look for it in other means, in other people, and we completely forget that it is within us. It's within us. When they say God is with you, this is the way. When they say God breathed into you, living in Genesis, God breath breathed into life. This is the breath. We can't overlook the breath. And so long, I mean, especially in this pandemic, I don't know how many times I don't like talking about it. You know, whether I tell people wear masks and do this and all of this and that, it's to negate that conscious connection with, because you start to diss the air you breathe, you might as well give up. You might as well give up right there. So you might as well go and commit suicide. Because without breathing, you're gonna get depressed. You're gonna get all of these anxieties in your body and stuff like that. So we need to breathe. We need to encourage proper breathing. We need to encourage righteous breathing. Breathing that is right for me, you, us, everybody. Because when you breathe right, you think right, you do right. It all starts from the breath. So I have some questions here. Is it normal to keep yawning during the exercise? Yes. On the first time you do it, yes, because the body is so lacking of oxygen. You're revitalizing the more you do this, you're going to realize you're going to stop yawning. When you start the journey, you could get cold. You could get, this is signs of showing you of circulatory issues. You could get dizzy. This is showing you again another sign of circulatory issues. But the more you do it, the more you get a grounding of a sense of being, because you need to charge the air in your body. Like, instead of just stop living on reserve and thinking that the air that you have is enough, charge up, recharge, have enough in storage, have enough to tap into when you don't need it. It's better to have it in store, just like savings. It's better to have it in savings than not have it at all and you're scrambling around looking for it. And this is the problem that we have in our breathing and our relationship with breathing. We need to change that whole infrastructure and understanding of A, what air is, and B, the connection that we have with air that empowers our being, our body, and the relationship of mind, body, soul connection. When they said to you that it don't make sense, you do nothing unless you're in a good mood, this is it. Do you need to tap into a space where you feel beautiful about being you? You need to feel connected with being you. It's only then you can grow. It's only then you can give. It's only then you can nurture. It's only then you can groom. It's only then you can love yourself. And when you understand, when you can feel self-love, loving self, now you can talk. You can say you're in love with yourself now. You can say in that space, you can love others now, of that type of unconditional space, that love, life's optimum vibrational energy. Okay, let me see. Next question. How often should you practice? Okay, again, as often as possible. If you can do it first thing in the morning before you get out of bed, best thing to do, because again, you're charged, you're tapped in, you're tuned in, and you're turned on. You're ready for them. You understand? You're ready. Okay, is it normal to feel lightheaded? Absolutely. There's many aspects of the lightheaded scenario. Sometimes the more you do it, what you're going to find is that there's a decalcification going on in the third eye area, and the pineal gland is starting to wake up. So you're going to start to release a DMT type substance from the mind. It's even the relationship with cannabinoids and the human body. You start to release the same endorphins, just like you smoke a spliff or something. It's the same thing we're just releasing out your mind and out your brain, and it's decalcifying the third eye, so the third eye can eventually start to see images, start to see color, start to see the chakras. The more you do this meditation, the more you're gonna realize the power of the inner being and start to crystallize and see it in full form. You're going to start to be able to relate to the astral body, the causal body, and the spiritual body, because you're just keep tapping into that pranic energy, and your consciousness is now focused on what's happening within more than what's happening out there in the external world. So it aligns you. It brings about in you that magnetism of centralization, and because sometimes that dizziness is showing you how out of alignment you was, and now you're coming back in, it's like, whoa, this I'm supposed to do there, and you land into that space. But after that dizziness, when I tell you to seize and you're holding your breath now, there's a whole heap of healing going on in that space. There's a whole heap of aligning that's going on in that space, each unto everybody's individual own. There's a Shakti that's been released in all the atoms in your body, dancing in joy, because they've been given some attention, they've been given some nourishment, they've been given some feeding, they've been given something to feed off, and then respond back to you in elation. Wow, I get excited, I can move, I can flex. And then the calming of the mind doesn't want to go now anyway. Now it stopped the chitter chatter, it stopped the nonsense talk, it stopped the monkey mind behavior. It's at peace with itself. Now it's ready to flow in an area and state of least resistance. So the more that we can empower our state in the first part of the day to be like this, then the whole day would be like this. So it don't make sense doing it at the end of the day when you understand. Like, we're doing it now to implement a habit, to implement an ideology, a new way of being, so this is great for the time period that we're doing it now. But in truth, we want to be able to take this and go, yeah, you know something, it sounds something we're supposed to implement every day, and then go into a scenario where, like I'm saying, the first thing in the morning, if we can expand that to doing 369 and develop it as a period where we're sitting and enjoying that silence, the period of silence, that's the most powerful place to be, that place of silence, because in the place of silence, all prayers are answered, all miracles happen, everything. In that space, we don't have to ask no question. The all-knowing knows. So when you bring yourself there, and you can keep that momentum going up every day for a minimum of 15 minutes, you watch what happened in your life in 7 days alone. Trust me, I'm a living test. I can't tell you how much benefit I get from doing it every day. And I'm feeling in such a joy in able to share it with others now in this space, because it's something that, from the George Floyd scenario come out, I can't breathe, this and that. It's like a subjective programming that's been put on the mass, on top of all the fear, anxiety, and stress. We're cutting our breath, we're cutting our lives just by cutting our breaths. Now, in the whole of the Vedic system. There's an 8-limb system of yoga. You start right from the bottom and climb up step by step by step by step. And the first step is the breath, is understanding what is prana. Because again, on that basis, it's above religion. It's just a fact, like gravity is gravity, la-di-da-di-da. You don't attribute that to a religion. You just attribute it as a fact. So these things that we are discussing in these times are things that are factual to all life force, all humans right across the planet, whether you're whatever race you come from, it's non-discrepant. It's not okay. If the Chinese man wouldn't blow up, what would happen? If you understand, it's for every single body. There is no exclusion in this knowledge. There is no exclusion. It's for everyone to embrace, because it's factual on the esoteric level to all religions. All religions talk of this in their own way. So this is a unification process of just understanding how we can look in at a deeper metaphysical and esoteric infrastructure of what we are, who we are, and how we can become more of what we were supposed to be and what we're designed to be, i.e. Sat Chitananda, truth, bliss, and pure consciousness. Now, you rob yourself of any of these characteristics, then it wasn't worth living this lifetime. And everything about this lifetime is about getting the best of those three qualities: truth, bliss, and pure consciousness. And when you have those three aligned on a consistent matter, then your life will be nothing short of miracles. Okay, let me see what the next question is. What is the best position? Sitting or lying down? Okay. I personally prefer to do it sitting. I've tried it a few times lying down. It does work when you're lying down. You can do it when you're lying down. I prefer to do it when I'm sitting. The only reason why is because I have my my body in I'm actually imagining when I'm breathing in to store the prana, and it's going right down to the feet, and I'm trying to capture the air and hold the air as much as I can, and when I'm releasing the air, at the minimum amount of air is coming out. When I'm lying down, I find that when I'm exhaling, more air tends to come out than what I actually want, because the stomach is now flat and everything, and it's almost like gravity is pulling down, so I lose extra air when I'm lying down. So I find it more effective when I'm sitting upright. However, it can be done laying down. The most beneficial all round, though, I would suggest sitting up. You can do it in many yogic positions in sitting up. They have those asanas, but the basic one is to make sure that your back is supported, and your legs are supported in a way that, if a vibe take you and you want to rock, you're not going to drop off, and you're not going to drop onto anything and mash up anything. You're nice and supported. And even if you want to drop over and fall asleep, and that's a good vibe, that means it went in. Your body's gone into a deep state of healing, a deep state of, it's like when the subconscious says to the conscious self, okay, I need to switch you off and go to work. This is what happens when you have major accidents or something like that, where there's a natural inner mechanics that wants to stop the mind from relating to the work that needs to be done in the body. So similarly in this, it's not an emergency, it's not a freak out scenario, but in this one, this is like a gentle push to a place of relaxation, so the prana that you've just taken in can do some work. So yeah, just make sure that you're supported well and you've got enough just in case you want to relax after, it is possible for you to do that. It's a very powerful meditation. It's cleansing on all levels. It cleanses the emotions. This meditation will bring you to tears, tears of joy, tears of a feeling of inner love. It's a realigning of all the chakras. It brings you to a courageous, confident, inner beautiful place. It's a very powerful meditation to try and practice. I just saw the numbers come up again: 9, 18, 27, 36, and 45. Yes, that was the order. That is, again, like I was saying, to break down the sheaths of ideologies. You've got 7 bodies, basically. 5 of them are built up on the Akashic principle, and then the other 2 are built on soul principle. That's the soul and the super soul. But the Akashic 5 are the physical, astral, causal, mental, and emotional body. They are all in one way on their realms still physical. And the prana is what gives them life on all of those levels. So, yes, let me see what this last question is. Best time of day to complete. Okay. With pranayama, there's no idea of your complete, because you're breathing every day, all day long. So the first part, when I was saying to do the first part of the day in charging up the 9 rounds, 18 and 27, if you got time to do all the way to 45, perfect. But if you only have time to do 3 rounds, you do the 3 rounds. And then, like I said, every hour of your waking consciousness, stop to take deep breaths, because what you're training yourself to do is to come out of the anxiety breathing and come into a space of love breathing, life upliftment breathing. So you're not short breathed. You want to breathe from a place of calm, confidence, relaxed. So you want to be taking, if this is training you to breathe deeply every day, all day long. So this is what I say, stop every hour to consciously think. This is a powerful element that I'm dealing with, air. There's the all pervading in the air, everything. God is right there with me, and He's charging my body, the elements of my being with every breath I take. You need to be, the more that you can crystallize that way of being, you're as you are with God, God is with you. So if there's a conscious thought of Him in every breath that you take, that's a conscious prayer right there. So if when you find yourself, you're giving thanks for every breath you take, you're in a highly blessed place. You're in a highly communicative place. You're in a highly manifestive place. You're in a place of abundance. You're in a highly blissed place. You're in that space where joy is coming to you consistently, non-stop. And in that abundance that you're filling up, you can now give this, you can now share this, you can now express this. Now you can be, you don't have to fake it. You are actually it. You are that real deal. You are always happy. You are always in bliss. Miracles are always happen because you're praying with every breath that you take. And even if that simple prayer is even if that simple prayer is give thanks, because the prayer is not even necessarily the word, it's the intention behind the prayer. So the how the Om is used in ancient, it's like a beads mantra, they say. It's like a seed mantra. You just say Om, and all your intentions that you want it to back with is encoded. So you might say, dear God, I want a PlayStation, a Mercedes, and a this, that. if I just say you'd understand everything. Yeah, perfect, great. He gets it. Relationship between you and the universe is sealed in the because everything that crystallized for you to have the reason for saying in the first place is there. So it's like a baby going Google Gaga it's the baby talk of the universe, but it's still the all-powerful word. It's still that all-powerful resonance, and it's the quickest way to tap it in. Sometimes I spoke to my mum today. God, I love my mother. Oh my gosh, mother. Hey, me a mother's boy. Love my mother. And every time we talk, she's like, Trevor, I just want to say a word of prayer before you go. And I love her praise. But her praise can go on for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 25 minutes. You feel the anointing, you feel the blessings, you feel everything. But it's like she remembers saying, I left the rice on the fire for warm up. I forgot the prayer.
Oh God.
So sometimes we don't have all the time in the world to say the long words and the long this and the long that. But if we just want to just send the attribution of being just in a simple gesture, in the most purest of gestures that we know, then, we have these beach mantras that are at disposal. We can just say, like, amen, like, and it's beautiful. So let me see if there's any more questions.
Brother, thank you.
Last question. How long have you been doing this and how did you get into it? Oh, wow. That's a big question. Okay, so I could say I've been doing it literally. Woo! Okay, so my mother and father, they're Christians, God bless them. So I was born in the church. And as an inquisitive person from about, okay, so no, I'm twisting the story. My bad, I wasn't born in the church. No, my mother was the first Christian of the family, and she was the champion that brought the family to church. She it was a typical, we love the domino at night time and this and that and the way. That was the setting. And then Christ coming at the picture, and when I saw, my dad was a heavy smoker, and my mom said to my dad, "Well, may I come bring a guy to church to make the Holy Spirit stop him from smoking, I take it to God church." And my dad went to church with mom the next week, and he literally gave up smoking the same. I was shocked. I was like, wow. And this time I was about 7. So something touched me when I was 7 years old, and my mom said to me, "Trevor, one night, me see I sleepwalk and I talk to God. You're sleepwalking, saying you are going to do anything where you going to do this lifetime for please him." And I'm like, was that right? Is that what? So I was always attracted to spirituality from an early age and seeing how it developed in my social upbringing. So we start God church and so forth, and really authentically involved with the church. Sunday school, me love play piano because we had a piano at home. So I was the one that was playing for the church, the kids and stuff. And there was a bunch of unruly kids at the back of the church still. We're not going to say, kind of picture them always a make up nice, like, and the thing say, God is talking to you. You have to keep your mind quiet and listen to what they've heard of God and blah, blah, blah. So seeing that as a young person growing up in the church, I took on the challenge to say to myself, something, I want to find out who this God is in all aspects, rather than just from the church point of view. I want to understand it from every point of view, so we can build up a real relationship and I found myself going through Christianity. I started studying Islam. I started studying this, that, the other, one bugger thing, very te lele, blah blah. And then I finally got introduced to the Vedic culture through a good brother of mine called Dennis. He was like an Indian Jamaican. He was the gentleman that left in the group chat that someone has passed away in his family. Son, my condolences go out to him at all times, and at this point in bringing up his name. But he's a very dear friend of mine, and he kind of broke the ice in the fabrics of, because there's a relationship with ancient India and Jamaica and so forth, and his father was one of the original people that came over from India to Jamaica back in the day, and he had a strong influence on Dennis's spirituality, which was both Christian and Vedic at the same time. So I got to share that with him in my early days, and that grew into being able to look at other scriptures. I came across the Bhagavad Gita, came across some other people. I came across Dr. Mark a little while after. And so there was a little community that we studied Vedic stuff quite intensively for over a period of, it's going to be 20, 25, going 30 years now. So yeah, again, in comparing and analyzing knowledge, you know, I used to teach for the Dr. York School of, I don't know if you remember that. Then there was what's his name again now? Muhammad. What's his name again? Elijah Muhammad. And then Dr. York, and he was the one that put the spring in the, because there's a thing that I discovered a long time ago called the Nuwabi way. And the Nuwabi way is an African, you can tell by the word, it's an African word, which means knowledge seeking. And in the process of seeking knowledge, everyone is individual. And the idea is like, in the process of seeking knowledge, you nurture, you come across the knowledge, you look at what's good, you dash where we're not use, and you this is how knowledge turns to wisdom, and wisdom turns to action, and action turns into the life you live. So what I've learned in the process is that there is only one unified religion, regardless of what we call it. You know, some call it Christianity, some call it Islam, some call it that, but it's bigger than that. It's bigger than that. These structures of religions are religions that we know by language. The greatest religion is the religion of the heart, and the religion of the heart is one that brings someone to be the well-wisher of all. So again, it's that place where on a communal level, we can share ideologies that bring about the best of us in the space of unconditional love. In other words, raising each and every one of us to our highest potential without looking for nothing in return. Now that's a godly action. That's worth doing. That's worth putting your time into. You understand? So yeah, it's a path where I've enjoyed loving what I'm doing and doing what I'm loving, because it's enriching my ideology of the Most High from all aspects and concepts. So no guy can come and fool me and tell me that I'm enough afraid of nothing and hide from nothing. When we see something, I can say, yeah, I can decode that. I know where that come from. I know where that oh, on a spin that upside down. Oh, on a teeth that. Oh, yeah. I can see through the whole map instead of hiding behind fear. Because this is what I've noticed. A lot of us has ended up hiding behind fear because we've been beaten into a very place of what's the place of what's the word that I'm looking for? Surrender. We've been beaten into a place of surrender, And in that place of surrender, we didn't step out of our corner. We didn't. Bless up, Noabi, see there? So yes, on that note, people, my mouth I get dry, and it's been a beautiful evening spending time with you all and discussing. So I'm gonna come to the end now. I'm gonna revitalize, recharge, and I hope that you can all come along and join me again next week. I'll have another chart. I'll be building another. There's basically about 10 slideshows to go through, so it all adds up to a big epic overview. Like in the Sanskrit terminology, in the Sanskrit writing, there's 64,000 books. 64,000 books, and what I'm doing is taking time just to go through to take out the relevant stuff that we can relate to. That's not going to bring harm to where we're at, but enhance what we're doing, and have a full constructive overview of what is, and what shouldn't be, and what we're gonna need. So it's been a beautiful experience with you all once again. Thank you all for coming. And
Brother Tarun, thank you very much. That was amazing. Just before you go, can you just say, you recommend to try and breathe every hour. Can you just say what part of the process should we try and do every hour? Because I guess it's just for a few minutes.
Yes. So you've got a basic base rate of how you breathe during the day. Now, most of the time, it's like it's a very shallow breath. So you're kind of breathing at a rate of you're probably doing maybe 20 breaths a minute, and you want to try and train yourself to bring that right down, 15, 10 breaths, because you're taking in, you're charging up, you're feeling. So every hour, if you just spend like even 1 to 2 minutes just breathing nice and slow and regulating, bringing back your whole broad bodily, it's like you're reprogramming your whole being to just breathe calmly, slowly, and consciously. So the more that you do this, your memory will improve. Everything about you will improve. So it's an exercise to again, like I'm saying, reduce the amount of breaths that you're taking on a day-to-day basis.
Normal basis. Thank you very much for clarifying that. That makes a lot more sense. There's quite a few people in the group that was asking how do they join the WhatsApp group, but I guess you didn't see that. But thank you. It was an amazing evening.
Thank you. So what I will do, I will just put in the chat now. I will leave a number for you all to come through on the WhatsApp group, and I will attach it. I'll attach you all to the WhatsApp group. Thank you so much for intervening. Is it Carly B?
Yeah, thank you.